I really don't like to think of it as like a superior job or, something that I guess you feel empowered by. It's a bit backwards, but for me, I think you want to be a leader within the body of the orchestra, right? Like the conductor is there, and yes, of course, you're the first point of contact for the conductor to pass on, messages or bowings, whatever, right? But I think it's the classic cliche of like you want your actions to be, the things that essentially lead everyone. Let's just say in the past I've had my fair share of experiences with concertmasters who love their voice. they love the sound of their voice a little bit too much, and I think for me that's not as impactful as showing them or leading in a way where it's really like they're locked in and they're really assertive with what their actions or gestures show and mean, right? So for me, I think breathing is huge, and bodily movements are they're very inextricably linked, and being clear with that is, I think, one of the main things that is super important. And like, you being up on the podium, you would understand how important that is, especially with the string section being so huge, right? Like, it's a fact that this string section is going to be bigger than our previous concert, and hence even more reason why you need to have really strong principles, not just in terms of playing, but in terms of like their leadership and the ability, to be super clear with leading. And so I think if that was just waffle to you, I would just say the ability to be able to lead like without saying much is the true role of a concertmaster, I think. And obviously, discussing bowings and, your approach of how to phrase a certain section, that can be done with your voice, obviously. And like, it's very important to be open, really open to communication with your other principals. Like, I think that's huge. Like, there have definitely been instances where principals don't get along, and I find that very amusing to watch. But it's very important to, be super on the same page with your principals, just so that you can be open. Like, if you disagree with something that they say, like you're open enough to say it. Because otherwise, you're just beating around the bush.
That's true.
And that I think that goes completely against the communication that you need for an orchestra, right? So I think, the concertmaster and the conductor, they work in tandem to establish a communication that's both musical and
practical.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's where we need to be on the same page. And I think, I've had my fair share of experiences with, different types of communication and what ones work and what doesn't. So I'd like to think that every single time I'm lucky enough to be in this role, like, I can bring about like a fresh energy and, do things that I know will work, whether it's something as elementary as like doing all of the bowings, and like it goes a long way. It really does. Like with the visual aspect of a performance, like you need to have that uniform look, right? That's why we dress in blacks, that's why there's like a specific standard or uniform that you do when you go on stage, because you want it to look professional, because it is a professional occasion. So I think first of all, really blessed and really happy to have this opportunity to lead alongside you. So I think it'll be a really fun occasion, and I'm there to to lead with my actions and to hopefully inspire some people as well. So,
and I agree with you. Something that you said about movement, it is between the conductor and the concertmaster, and the principles, especially strings, is that you can read each other's body language and you move with the music. I at least for me, it is my job, and I suppose your job, to also inspire, as you said, other strings or whole orchestra, but also show them and help them to get to that level and push them to that level of of musicality or the passion or whatever the piece requires us. But it's just that support. They feel like if you move with them, with the music, they're like, oh, I can actually do that. And they will get there as a group. Yeah.
Like you watch, like the common feedback from the conductor is just you do exactly what the front desk is doing.
Exactly.
Like you just mime them.
Yeah.
And like that brings like a literal connection from the front desk to the back desk. And like you can really hear and see the difference it makes. So yeah, I think it's important to have a good relationship between the conductor and the concertmaster.
Definitely.
I think. But you know, these little things, like, they really add up, and they do make a difference on in the show.
Yeah,
they really do. And I think, you know, this is just another experience where we'll see that. We'll have to, you know, go through the same process of linking all of the desks and then all of the woodwinds and brass. Like, you know how difficult the distance is between the brass and the strings. Like, these are basic ensemble things that you just need to be locked in with. And, you know, hopefully, you know, the principals can, you know, generate something that's really strong and a form of connection that is just really organic. You know?
Yeah, I agree.
So, yeah.